All right, folks, Donald Trump cut a deal with Democrats when it came to the debt ceiling, shocking members of his own party. As a result, the New York Times over the weekend did a story talking about how Donald Trump is such an independent and how he is turning things upside down here in the nation's capital. Peter Baker, the New York Times, wrote this here. Although elected as a Republican last year, Mr. Trump has shown in the nearly 8 months in office that he is in many ways the first independent to hold the presidency since the advent of the current two-party system around the time of the Civil War. What the hell has he been paying attention to? Let's go to our panel. Of course, we have Monique Presley, legal analyst, principal of the Presley firm, Eugene Craig III, Republican strategist and CEO of the Eugene Craig Organization. We have Lauren Victoria Burke, NBC Black writer as well, Faraji Muhammad, host of Listen Up, WEAA 89.9 FM in Baltimore. Lauren, I'll start with you. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out, this is a very small deal he cut, and now he's, Mr. Independent. I'm sorry, am I missing something here?
Yeah, the press is sometimes really episodic in terms of, one moment happening and then trying to turn it into some sort of a theme. But obviously the president's guiding principle is to erase the presidency of the first black president of the United States, Barack Obama. And we saw that with everything. The Muslim ban, obviously, the rollback on, not the rollback, the roll up on the war on drugs, the Paris Agreement, the Paris Climate Agreement, and so much more. The DREAM Act, Cuba policy. DREAM Act, affirmative action. When it comes to colleges, really, when it comes to the consent decree in Baltimore and Jeff Sessions, the sham voter fraud commission, Eugene. Like really, like what? There's nothing independent about Donald Trump. What's independent is he's independently nuts.
I agree, but I also contend that Donald Trump's not a Republican. He's never been a Republican. He's just somebody to co-opt the Republican Party. What we're seeing now, him working with Schumer and Pelosi on a debt deal. You have folk that love debt. Donald Trump's the king of debt. Pelosi and Schumer never saw a debt bill, Tebow they didn't like, come together and pass a debt bill. But more importantly, what we're seeing is that Steve Bannon, now that he has his weapons and now that he has his Horcruxes back, he's now waging war on the Republican Party.
Whatever.
No, this is serious. I mean, when you're talking about prominent folk like Bob Wicker and Tom Corker, that's taken to
and a blog.
But here's the deal.
With the full weight of the presidency behind him.
When you look at what Trump has done, yes, he cut a deal with Pelosi and Schumer. He's excited about the media attention he's gotten. I mean, he literally called him the next day and said, have y'all seen the press? Even your network, CNN, MSNBC, are saying did a great job. That's what he cares about.
Right. He has a party, and it's Party of Trump. He's not Democrat, for sure. He's not Republican. I'm sure independents don't want to claim him because they at least have some value incentive for the way that they draw political lines. This man is out for whatever makes him look good at the time and always has been. And he tried this just because, he didn't want to look bad while there were two hurricanes, one ending and one coming, and they came in there ready to make the deal, and nothing else had been working for him thus far. So he went ahead and did it. He is a man without party, and I would argue a man without conscience.
But Faraji, if President Obama had cut such a deal, which he did, nobody be saying, hey, Obama's now an independent.
No. I mean, this is all procedural. I mean, talk about the debt ceiling, that's something that presidents do.
Or fake news.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, they say, well, President Trump disrupts the two-party system. President Trump disrupts life. It's not just It's not just the two-party system. The fact is that he's doing what's in his best interest and what he can get the most ground from, and that's all it comes down to. I mean, if you look at his policies, and this is the sickening part about American politics, we look at one moment and we forget the whole season. We look at that one little episode and we like, oh man, that's my man. And then you forget, he did a whole lot of other things up to this point that took him straight out of any type of thought of being independent. How can President Donald Trump, who is a billionaire, be an independent in the United States government?
Lauren, this is not again. This is a cute media game that the New York Times is playing, and my whole point is we're going to remind people that there's nothing independent about what he's doing.
Well, the piece that should have been written is a piece on how. On his obsession with Barack Obama. That obsession began long before he, of course, ran for president.
It was
this
in
idea that
2011.
right, obviously the thing with the birther, but also the obsession with his college records. I mean, he's been obsessed with Barack Obama for at least 10 years. I mean, ever since Barack Obama became president. Now that he's in office, his entire MO, his entire obsession is to erase Barack Obama.
The thing is this, politically, when it comes to typical party politics, Donald Trump has been an independent for a very long time.
No, he hasn't.
When it comes to Neil Gorsuch, these aren't my words. These are Steve Bannon's words.
Neil, I don't care about Steve Bannon.
Who cares about Steve Bannon?
Steve Bannon's the mind of
Neil Gorsuch was not the choice of an independent. Having Jeff Sessions and what he has done when it comes to the issue of criminal justice reform is not an independent. When you look at when you also look at what has happened with this fraudulent voter fraud commission, that is not an independent. Republicans are happy as all get out that Donald Trump is there because he is there to drive their agenda.
It's basic right-wing politics, Tea Party politics. There's nothing new here.
If I can quote Steve Bannon, who a month ago was the president's chief strategist of a stone's throw from the Oval Office.
Who cares?
And just as of last night, made two telling statements. One, that in Trump world, in their eyes, Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell are anti-Trump agenda, and it's their agenda that matters.
But that has nothing to do with independence. This has to do with far right-wing politics.
And what I'm saying is that the modern-day Republican Party is not the party of Donald Trump.
It is far right-wing politics.
Tea Party politics. Stop acting like something new happened.
Eugene.
This is Tea Party. Tea Party politics.
When you look at the things that are going to affect your grandchildren,
come on,
he's a conservative, far-right Republican
he's not a conservative.
taking measures with his administration that will affect my children's children. That's why the Supreme Court nomination matters, right? That's why all of the things that are going on in the Justice Department matter. So the fact that he doesn't really care about any of it, it could have been Neil Gorsuch, it could have been Clarence Thomas, it could have been anybody but Barack Obama, and he would have been fine with it on either side. He's doing that to appease and please his base.
20 seconds, final comment.
Other than last week, what hasn't been conservative?
I agree with you.
What hasn't been conservative?
In my world,
other than
Jeff Sessions is a walking, living Confederate monument, if you ask me. I agree with you. There are some points that Donald Trump has, some things he's done to appease his base, but in the world of typical Republicans, he's not a Republican. He's a party of Trump.
I'm trying to tell y'all. Hashtag we tried to tell you. Don't believe that BS New York Times piece. I'm trying to tell you. This is far right-wing Republican politics. Period.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.